Live from Carborough, it's the Chris or Jenny Show featuring Deej and starring Saman Khoujinian on WCOM, Chapel Hill and Carborough. It's a jaunty little number. I love it.
I know you love it.
I love that that's our theme song.
Evening, friend.
Good evening, people I don't know or care about.
Did you care about everybody?
Nah. I'm indifferent toward a lot of people. It's easiest that way for both of us.
What about you, Saman? You feel like you like everybody.
I don't know if I wouldn't say I like everybody, but I definitely try to give everybody I encounter space, you know.
All right.
Why
See,
not?
that's what we
Life's
do.
short.
Someone nice on the show.
All right. Yeah. Even things out.
Nice is good. I don't get that one too often.
All right.
Welcome to the show tonight. Our guest, Saman.
Saman Khoujinian, he's the co-founder of Sleepy Cat Records, a small but mighty Carborough-based record label. Welcome, Saman.
Thanks, bud. It's glad to be
Yeah.
here. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Good reception, yeah.
Right here in Carborough.
That's right.
And your label, you've been around for a little while now.
3 years and counting.
3 years, Deej.
Mm-hmm.
That's about as long as we've had this show.
Yeah.
No way.
It's about the last time I washed these jeans.
That's a thing, right? You're not really supposed to wash denim, right?
Yeah, when you like get a visible mustard stain.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
Didn't one of the famous jeans people say, like Calvin Klein or someone like that said, I never, ever, ever have washed my jeans?
I'm not surprised, yeah.
That's half the point.
I feel like Calvin Klein probably doesn't smell. So
Yeah.
maybe.
I was going to say, what
Yeah.
about farts?
Yeah.
He gets all that free cologne, so he can get away with it.
The free cologne that he made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Saman, brother, welcome.
Thank you so much.
We're very happy to have you in the studio.
I'm glad to be here.
Really, your record label's about 3 years old.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking it was longer, but that is fantastic.
So is this your first record label?
Yeah, first one that I've owned.
Talk us through the decision-making process to found a record label. What were you doing before? How'd you get there?
I had a band. I've had a band for a long time, several bands, and I've constantly tried to get the music out there in one way or another, and whether that means shopping it to labels or different kinds of management or any kind of, industry back-end stuff. And when I didn't hear back from anyone for over a decade, Gabe and I, who I've been making music with, who's the co-founder of the label.
All right.
We
other
just
Sleepy
decided
Cat?
another Sleepy Cat. We just decided to do it ourselves.
Yeah, fair enough.
We've kind of done that our whole lives, really. Just
Cool.
sort of tried to dip our toes into every facet of making music, Yeah.
So, just for the folks at home, what exactly is a record label and what is it not?
Oh my God, I wish I could answer that. That's a great question.
Loaded questions.
Honestly, these days, that's even harder to answer.
Because it's a changing landscape.
Definitely a changing landscape. And it's changing even since the 3 years that I've been part of the official label world, But I can't even imagine what record label people in the 90s were going through when, streaming really kind of came to fruition, or I guess early 2000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't really speak for labels at large, but what we do is provide kind of like a baseline platform for the folks whose music we like and whose music we put out to operate from.
Okay.
Sometimes that bleeds into like what some people would call managerial decisions, but we really kind of try to stay pretty hands-off when it comes to how the people we work with kind of run their life or their business or anything like that. We just kind of focus on helping them get their music out to folks and sort of giving them a little leg up and making that happen.
So again, you had a band. You weren't getting the attention from the labels, and so you were just like, we'll just start our own.
Yeah, I mean, the attention was one thing, and the other thing is just I've been a stickler for Gabe has too, been a stickler for kind of owning our own process from top to bottom, sort of like, I don't know, vertical integration, but from the ground up instead of like, kind of being at the top and then buying everything under you or whatever.
Yeah.
So it just kind of made sense for us to do it. It's just another step in the process,
And was that band T Gold?
So that's the latest incarnation of Gabe and I's.
That's what I was going to ask you. I had just sensed that maybe that band has gone through some iterations or something.
It has. Yeah. That band's been around. That band actually started with the label. I mean, we put that first record out, and then the label was generated from that record.
Right.
But we've been playing music together since high school in Miami, Florida. So.
Is streaming good, bad, or indifferent for a small indie label? Because like on the one hand, anyone could put a cool video on, an old guy'd say YouTube, a kid would say TikTok, but anybody can put a video out there, right? And get heard. But on the other hand, so walk us through that, like pros and cons today of streaming.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because as a person who's involved in the world of generating revenue from music sales and whatnot, Gabe and I both kind of find ourselves on the side of it's kind of okay if people have unlimited access to it. We're not really trying to be like gatekeepers of the music or the content, even though, 20 years ago or something, you ask label people, a lot of people would have probably said that streaming was the death of the industry completely. Right. And it clearly isn't, because there's more music being made now than there ever has been. Yeah. Again, it's kind of like you mentioned at the top. It's the changing nature of the industry, and honestly, if the old school methods can't keep up, then good riddance.
Adapt or something.
It almost doesn't matter if streaming is good or bad, because streaming is.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
you just have to.
It is.
Got to adapt around it. An old band. I loved our music. I really believed in it. I never got sick of it, but just nobody would come see us. And I just remember one time we were playing at Deep South the Bar, this really cool venue.
Yeah, in Raleigh.
Good spot. And we were playing, and then like the other band went outside to smoke. The bartender went in the back, and I'm like, are we literally playing for nobody?
Wow.
Do we keep playing? What do we do? And just it's so disheartening when you can't get anyone to come to your show.
Man, that's quite a feeling.
Is it extra frustrating when you know the band's pretty good?
Yeah, it's like, hey, I think we're good, and I'm certainly having a good time, and I'm enjoying it. So when I think of like what a record label could do, did you kind of find fans and kind of promote the shows and prevent that from ever happening?
Oh my God, I wish we could. I've been making music in a semi-professional to professional capacity since I was 16.
Wow.
And so has Gabe, and a lot of people in our circle and a lot of people that we like interact with have been doing that. And to date, I still play more empty shows than packed shows.
Yeah.
I think you have a fan. This young lady wants to say hello if you want to just wave. Oh, she's going off.
Well, bye. Never change.
Yeah, never change.
You will.
Later.
This is Saman, folks. Sleepy Cat Records. Look at that. They're lining up on the streets, Deej, just to get a glimpse of this man.
I feel like I'm on Conan or something.
Yeah.
People out in New York City are like...
we consider ourselves Conan Light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, Deej?
Cool.
El Codecito.
At this point, again, 3 years in, and I think you have about 8 bands on your label. 6 or 7, 8,
probably
something
know
like
better
that.
than I do, yeah.
What comes first at this point now? Does the band seek you out, or do you seek the new band out?
It's really both. We get a lot of submissions in the inbox and stuff, sometimes from folks we know really well. And, with folks that we know, and it's people whose music we've loved for a long time, we'll approach them, of course, because often they're either our friends or they're in our circle or our sort of larger concentric circle,
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of folks still kind of email us, folks we don't know from here, around the country, or some international folks who are like, well, I've got this record. I found you through X artist, or I found you through like a Bandcamp search or something, or a playlist. And if we've got the bandwidth to do it and we like the music and we're financially able to, then we'll do what we can to make it happen. But that is the whole piece of being financially able to run a record label and have like regular, consistent releases is still something we're figuring out.
Difficult.
Definitely difficult.
Yeah.
I know a couple of other folks who run small labels like us, and they're like, where is the money? But yeah.
I did sense from your just reading about you guys and your website and everything that it's kind of a friends and family affair.
It's at least it started that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to date, for the most part, it has been. And that a really good indication of that is going to be this festival we got coming up.
Sleepy Fest 22, Deej.
That's right.
Where-
It's going down.
Let's get
Who,
into
what,
it
when,
right
where?
now. Yeah, we'll talk about it now. We'll talk about it in 20 minutes, and then we'll talk about it at the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let's plug the hell out of that festival,
Let's
Deej.
get plugged. All right.
Yeah, tell us about it.
It's the inaugural one, first one we've done. First event like this that Gabe and I have thrown. And it's not only Gabe and I who are putting it on. Really, the main organizers are these two lovely people, Steph Stewart, who plays in the band Blue Cactus. who's
What's
on
up,
the
Steph
label.
Stewart?
Hey, Steph, shout out.
Shout out to Steph Stewart, Deej. I've seen
Yeah.
her. It's a female-male combo.
Yeah, it's Steph and Mario.
Are they husband and wife?
No.
They're just in a band together.
I don't know if I'm at liberty to disclose.
It's like the White Stripes. Who knows?
Tell me
And who
more.
cares?
Tell me more. But I wanted to mention they're probably the band that I recognize the most from your label.
Yeah, totally. They've got a pretty broad listenership, and they tour a lot, and they're busting their butts out there on the
I'll edit that part out where I ask about
right.
their marital status.
It's in the can.
They'll never know.
I'm sure they get that question a lot.
So the good people of Blue Cactus and Steph
Steph is part of Blue Cactus.
running it.
Yeah, and then there's someone else named Cameron Laws who
Okay.
has worked in sort of the event space and the nonprofit space for a long time. She runs, I know it as a festival, but I think it's like a broader sort of arts nonprofit coalition thing called Artsplosion, and it's based out of Raleigh.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
I used to live in Raleigh.
Okay, yeah, totally. So she's been doing a lot of work with them for a while, and I think she's also got her fingers in different. Yeah, there you go. There's the beautiful poster.
Yeah.
I wish you could see it.
I'll tell you what, a good festival needs a good poster, and this is a heck of a poster.
Shout out Chris Verzina, aka Lou Hazel.
Ooh.
Who's also playing.
Very nice.
Lou Hazel is the designer of this poster.
Yeah.
Sleepy Fest 2022 Deej in Hillsborough, North Carolina.
That's right. It's at Down Yonder Farm.
Good spot. Kind of out in the country.
Oh yeah, real out in the country.
Okay.
Just kind of north of downtown.
Gotcha.
Really cool spot. We're gonna have 300 people out there.
At least.
2 stages.
Nice.
A bunch of vendors.
Yeah.
Craft market. Tarot readers and JJ's Smoke and Griddle and Vimala's Curry Blossom Cafe.
Yummy.
And then a vegan spot. And Burrow Kombucha. Steel String's going to be doing beer and wine.
Cool.
And Cook's Mill is doing whiskey.
Nice.
Sounds
How
like a
can
hell of a festival.
It's going to be a nice little time.
How can people get tickets or find out where and when and
Well,
why?
Definitely online.
Okay.
And obviously, everybody take this risk on your own. But if you want to buy a ticket the day of, come to the festival and buy a ticket.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you want to do it analog styles.
But we might be
Google
sold
Sleepy
out.
Fest.
Fingers crossed.
Now that you've been on our show, the ticket sales are going to go
100%, I imagine.
through the floor. Actually, they're
Oh,
going down.
They just sold out. They just sold
They
out.
just sold out.
Oh, yeah, you've got the right pulled up. Yeah.
Well, step one, the poster is phenomenal. The acts, Blue Cactus, Chessa Rich, Joe DiCosimo.
Yeah, DeCosimo.
You're having our good friends from Steel String. We know them pretty well.
Is that right? Cool.
Had a few too many martinis
We've
there.
had a handful of wet drinks there.
Checks out.
And Vimala. I love Vimala. she's
great.
she's a wonderful, wonderful woman. I was at Shikori Hills Festival today.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of a festival that's out in the middle of nowhere. Now, I'd been there before, but I just went today to volunteer for WCOM.
Nice.
And it's not far, but man, there's a couple of weird turns. It's out in the country.
Oh, yeah.
And the wireless doesn't work out there.
Ooh.
I was just there during the day today, but it was kind of weird. But
disorienting.
yeah.
I've had some interesting experiences out at Shikori where I don't know what we're allowed to talk about on the radio.
Talk about whatever you want, brother.
Basically,
We'll get
a
it in
friend of
post.
mine and I took a little too many mushrooms.
That
Shikori
can
one
happen.
year, and neither of our phones worked. We ended up somehow kind of on the outskirts of the festival. We left the festival grounds and we were in the woods.
Yeah.
We could hear things at a distance. And anyway, at some point his throat started to close up, and I think he was having kind of like an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
And I kind of calmed him through it, and then we both sort of woke up and went back to the fest.
And just to confirm, it wasn't DJ Simons. It wasn't this man right here, right? Would you?
I would still be wandering those woods. If that was
Still
me.
be out there.
Yeah.
Is the best part of the festival just the fact that something kind of weird and strange can happen?
That's definitely not a bummer. I love
That's
that.
part of the
Half the
attraction,
point.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, folks bring their A game to festivals, you know.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of people that show up.
Like I said, we just had a booth out there today, and it was just during the day, and not a lot of action on Friday morning, but the potential for just mayhem is just just bubbling right under the surface.
Oh, yeah.
When you're planning Sleepy Fest, I've planned a couple little events for this station. Where do you get ideas from? Do you go to other festivals and events to get ideas, or you've probably been going to festivals for your whole
I've been
life?
attending and playing festivals for a while.
So you're just like,
Yeah.
I like that, I like that, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, between Gabe and I and Steph, who are like active musicians, and Cameron, who's like really got experience throwing festivals and being part of the whole like event planning scene, we're kind of amalgamating our knowledge, you know,
Nice.
and we're seeking outside advice whenever there's something we don't know. I mean, the legal logistics of throwing a festival and like the safety logistics of
Permitting.
Insurance.
Insurance.
Yeah, we were given the runaround on our ABC license, but Cam Laws figured it out. She's amazing.
Nice.
All
I
right.
love it. I love it. Here we go. T
Shout out
Gold,
Cam.
folks. Let's see what this is all about, Deej.
Okay.
My dear friend, it's no good to just sit around thinking who might put a light in their eye now that you're old news. Oh, my lovely friend, you're good. Your heart is an open book. Your old life's not coming back. Maybe a new one could. Yeah, why don't you quit feeling so bad? Friends say that it's easy. They've read a book about it. You're not gonna live forever. No, one day you're gonna die. You better come down from that lonely mountain while you still got time. Oh, my dear friend, it's no good to just sit around thinking might put a light in their eye now that you're old news. Oh, my lovely friend, you're good. Your heart's an open book. Your old life's not coming back. Maybe a new one could. Yeah, why don't you quit feeling so bad? Friends say that it's easy. They've read a book about it. You're not gonna live forever. No, one day you're gonna die. Better come down from that lonely mountain while you still got time. You better come down from that lonely mountain while you still got time.
T Gold Deej.
Beautiful.
Featuring our guest, Saman, on vocal and look like 6-string rhythm.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And Gabe, his founding partner of Sleepy Cat, was on the drums
That's right.
and wanted to be here, but he had a conflict of some sort.
He's going to a fun electronic festival in Durham called Slingshot.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's a tough draw. Yeah.
All right.
So T Gold was pretty sweet. How long have you guys been
Appreciate
performing?
it.
Yeah, nice vibe.
Like I said, Gabe and I have been playing music together since high school. We met in 2007 or 8.
You have a very youthful vibe going.
Oh, that's
like
great.
if you took off the beard, he looks like he could be in high school if not
That's
for the.
nice to hear. Jeez,
Yeah.
I just turned 31, and I'm like, oh, here come the decades.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, the brother.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
You're young.
Oh, let's hope. But yeah, so T Gold's been going down for a few years, and man, Gabe and I have made all kind of music together. We used to play in a project called Dad and Dad, and that was like hardcore, like experimental electronic music.
Yeah.
And
That's
very
cool.
much the opposite of what we just heard.
Yeah, that was chill.
So does Gabe usually play drums and you play guitar in most collaborations?
Yeah, I'd say
or?
Gabe usually plays drums. We kind of like arrange and write the songs together. I'll usually do most of the lyric writing, and then Gabe and I will arrange things together. And then performance-wise, Gabe will play drums, percussion. I'll usually do guitar as like the basic track, but I play all kinds of instruments and
Yeah.
stuff. I have a real love of synthesizers and electronic sounds, and so I'll try to bring a little bit of that into the equation when I can.
Yeah.
Nice.
What's your songwriting process like? Do you kind of come with lyrics first, or do you hear chord structure, or do you just kind of think of it all at once, or all of the above?
Good question. It's usually starts with melody for me. I mean, I just have such a focus on the top line of a tune, and
Yeah.
then it's like sort of trying to figure out harmonically what's going on under the melody to keep me engaged while I'm writing it, because there are several tried and true chord progressions under many different beautiful songs, but the thing that really gets me going is like how can I sort of twist that a little bit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very humble of you to put T Gold on the bottom of your poster. I'm very impressed by that.
Well, I want to
I
take
would be
credit for
like-
that, but it's alphabetical. So.
When you're having your own festival,
That's right.
is it going to be hard to enjoy it and also hard to perform knowing that, your name is on the marquee, not only your band's name, but your label's name?
Well, I'll
So-
say this too. Gabe and I are both playing in 4 bands that day.
Wow.
So maybe you won't have time to be stressed out because, and you have other people helping you, but
Yeah, I think I'll be flying that day.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got volunteers coming on to help out, and then we've got like sort of on the ground friends that are available to manage certain things.
Yeah.
So we'll be there to kind of broadband watch over the thing, but we'll be pretty focused on performing.
yeah.
That day.
And I'm noticing the logo of our friend community radio station in Hillsborough. Is it WHUP?
Yeah, WHEP, WUP FM.
You've been on there. Have you ever been on there?
Yeah. A few
Okay.
times,
Right
yeah.
on.
Shout
Right on.
out Bob Burtman.
Bob Burtman. What's up, brother?
Bob Burtman.
You've never been to the friendly confines of WCOM, which what we call Piggly Wiggly Studio, because this used to be a Piggly Wiggly.
Wait, this whole
Yeah.
block?
Yeah, in like the 50s. This
Yeah.
is Piggly Wiggly. Yeah.
But you have been at one of our other favorite places, the Art Center.
That's right. That's right.
What, you used to work there or
I
something?
was. I was a one-time employee of the Art Center and sort of bopped around different positions. This was right out of during college and right out of college. I started as like an intern in the marketing department, and then under Adam Gratz, a good friend of mine. And then I moved to house manager positions, the guy that takes the tickets and everything. And then I was operations assistant to Brad Porter, who to this day is a great friend of mine and
Nice.
a really talented drummer. He did end up having to fire me from that
Yeah.
job
Ooh,
because
awkward.
I just wasn't doing a good job.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any hard feelings left, but I was
We
like,
know the feeling, Simon.
Is that right?
We've been there, right, Deej?
I think we've all been fired.
More than once.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the only time I've been fired.
You know, Art Center's moving.
Funny enough, when I was working there, that was the first sort of like whispers of the new location.
Yeah.
And a bunch of obstacles later.
10
here we
years
are.
later, here we
Wait,
are.
Where's the new space?
It's right
It's
around
one-
around the corner there. Do you know where?
That gravel lot across from Open Eye.
No, wait.
Yeah.
Isn't that a parking
No,
lot?
Deej, that's the 203 project.
Oh,
That's
is it?
the
Okay.
library. If you go to Armadillo Grill and take a left, it's
Yeah.
like there's a cemetery.
Oh, it's by that bike path. back
Yes.
there.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Libicotton,
interesting.
the Libicotton. Yeah, that's where it is. Those are the two kind of simultaneous projects.
Oh, gotcha.
Interesting.
And to add a little intrigue, WCOM is moving in the 203, the library that he was thinking about earlier. So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's that 203 one. Is that the one on Main Street, kind of by Twin House Music? And
No.
Is that the Open Eye gravel lot one?
Okay, you know where Steel String Brewery is. Across the street is Open Eye Cafe. Right beside that is a gravel parking lot for years and years and years.
Yeah.
That is where there's going to be the new Carborough Library. Inside that building it's going to be more than a library. It's a community center, etc. Inside that building is going to be WCOM. We are moving.
Future home.
Our future home.
Is it going to look as cool as this?
We'll make sure.
Yeah, very good.
As long as Pee Wee comes, I think we'll be okay.
Oh,
And cool guests. Yeah. And then the Art Center so that's a brand new build. The Art Center is a building that's already been there that was owned by UNC, and then early pandemic, they decided they didn't need as much real estate as they have, and they sold that to the Art Center. That's my understanding of all that whole nonsense.
Yeah, and then I think the Parks and Rec department's going to be in that building, and the Cybrary. They're probably just going to shut the Cybrary down.
The Cybrary is that it's kind of attached to like Town Hall, right?
It's on that brick building across from Speakeasy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, has a beautiful. Have you been in there?
In the Cybrary?
In the just Carborough's the Century Center.
Yeah, I've been in the Parks and Rec department many times.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Legendary softball manager.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Legendary softball manager.
Yeah.
But if you go in and go upstairs, so we just had the Carborough Music Festival. And I've been in there once before, but I never noticed until last weekend how beautiful the theater is in there.
Oh, I didn't know
there's a band in there, and it's not super 2022 user friendly. For example, the bathroom is like go down the hall and down the stairs, and there's nowhere to get drinks or anything like that. It looks like it hasn't been touched since like 1950. Chandelier. If you like old theaters, it'd be a really cool place to have a band. I would guess you can fit 300 or 400 people in there. And I went there to see our buddy Paul Messenger, who we've had on this show. Yeah. But I've been in there before, but I never really noticed how awesome that theater was. But I can see why we don't use it more because, again, no modern, like it's probably not handicapped. Like there's no bathroom close by and stuff like that. But that would be a cool place to have a festival. I mean, it is a cool building.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, and then I think the Carborough Police Department's just going to kind of take over the Century Center and expand their wherewithal.
So does Sleepy Cat Records have a physical space? Or is it you just operate out of basements or garages?
Gabe's house right now.
Okay,
out of the ether.
Yeah, just down the street in Carborough. And then Gabe and I don't live together. We used to live together for many years, but I live just down the street from him, and that's where I do a lot of my like production work and stuff.
Is part of what you offer as a label? Do bands record?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of different stages for different bands. Some bands want to put a record out with us, and we want to put their record out because we're familiar with their music, but they don't have a record, and so we'll kind of go into the studio with them.
Yeah.
And make the record from the ground up. That's what I do. My day job is record producing.
Yeah.
Producing, engineering, mixing, all that kind of stuff.
Right on.
And then, Gabe plays drums, I'll play whatever's necessary. Sometimes a band comes to us with a record in hand. They're like, it's mixed, it's mastered.
Help me get it out. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Gabe's house is not necessarily a quote-unquote recording studio.
No. Gabe's house is essentially our, like, primary meeting place.
So if you
where our inventory lives.
Right.
If you needed to help a band record, you would go to Night Sounds or Dwarf Star.
Kinds of studios,
okay. Because we got a bunch of friends we could introduce. If you need more studio.
Oh, I'm flush.
You're
with studios,
loaded up on studios.
But I'd always love to meet someone else who's working,
That's
right,
cool.
So if a band comes to you with the music, is your job to just kind of find fans, get them shows, anything else? Are you their manager? How does that work?
So finding them shows, I would say, is, depending at kind of what tier they're operating at, is either their own job or a booking agent's job. And then managerial decisions like a band's image or sort of like longer term decision making. We can do some of that depending on who we're working with and what their needs are, but mostly what we do is we kind of handle the release, so like the moment of releasing that music, everything from pressing physical media like vinyl or CDs or cassettes like we did for Owen, all of that over to press campaigns. Like, do we do in-house press? Do we hire a publicist for this? Honestly, a lot of the tedium of releasing a record,
And it is tedious.
It can be, yeah. I mean, press is it's like pulling teeth to get me to send out a press release. I do it, but it's just, it's tough.
It's the thing you hate.
Yeah.
When you and I first started talking about getting you on here, you were like, yeah, I'd love to come on. It'll have to be in a couple months, though, because I'm going on tour. Was that, but now I'm realizing perhaps I was under the impression that was for a band was on your label, but that might have been your own personal band. Or are the lines blurred for you?
Well, for me, the lines are definitely blurred.
Yeah.
When it comes to other artists, I've had to keep things pretty separate just for the sake of professionalism. Like,
Right.
for work, I make records professionally, you know, and so sometimes I'll make a record with a band that I really love, but the label doesn't have the bandwidth to put it out. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, well, these two have to remain separate, you know?
Yeah.
But that tour, I think that might have been Gabe on the Loamlands tour recently, and then I had some dates with Libby Rodenbow, who is on the label.
Okay.
And I did some dates with Chessa recently, too. It's just, yeah.
And Libby Rodenbow, folks, will be performing at Sleepy Fest October 22nd. What a plug!
Right? Yeah, right. How about that?
What a pro!
That was serious.
What a
That was
pro!
Seamless.
When you're seamless, but we usually get the opposite feedback. Are most bands that you work with, what's an average like arena that they might be performing in? Like 150, 250, 300 cap venue? Is that?
Yeah, you know, it's a good question.
Or a festival act?
Festivals always have good draws. You know, they have more of like what they call like a soft ticket
Yeah.
built-in crowd.
Yeah, I get it.
Depends on where we are. I mean, if Libby or Blue Cactus or someone are playing out here, I mean, they could easily fill up the back room of the Cradle and
Okay.
other similar spaces. And as a reach, maybe we'll try and have like a few of the members of the label at the main room, just kind of be able to get more people in there, you know? And again, it depends on where they are. I mean, a lot of these folks tour in different places, and sometimes, myself included, we'll end up in a town where a couple people come to see us, like
it
we were
happens.
talking about earlier.
It happens.
And then sometimes you go to a town, and depending on where your Spotify plays have landed you, or sometimes it's surprising. Sometimes you'll show up in a town, and like even if 15 people who you've never seen in your life come to see you, you're like,
oh, that's
what
great.
in the world? How did you?
That's cool.
How did 15 people in like I don't know, Omaha figure out who we were? You know?
Yeah.
We had. Have you ever played or been to Local 506?
Oh yeah, countless times.
Okay, so we had one of the owners is Rob Walsh.
Oh yeah.
We had him on this show, and he told us the story that the White Stripes. Someone made a joke about the White Stripes earlier. I think
it was
all
a
about
joke, but they're referred to.
the White Stripes
No laughing matter.
played at Local 506, and this was like 5 seconds before they were famous. And he said 0 people came. It was Rob, the bartender, and the bouncer watched the freaking White Stripes on Franklin Street. Can you believe that?
That is amazing.
Isn't that wild? That was one of the coolest things I've heard on the show.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite bands these days. They're called Big Thief.
Yeah.
I saw them years ago at the Kraken.
That's awesome.
And there was like, there were a few people there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
There's always a few people.
yeah, I mean, Big Thief is playing, I don't know, like Radio City Music Hall on their next tour.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Wow.
So it's a whole other thing.
What would you rather get, Saman? A band that is talented and you can just the talent's just dripping off them. You can see it, and they're humble and hungry and they're willing to get after it, or a band that maybe already has a following. They're a little bit further down the path, but maybe not quite as talented, but they're a draw. Do you see all the above, or what would you rather work with?
Number one for me is definitely ease of working with somebody.
Yeah, you seem pretty chilled out, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think thanks. Number one thing is just like being able to kind of see eye to eye on the process and the workflow, feeling like we mesh, feeling like, because honestly, it's just like being on tour, you know? I've toured with several bands at this point, and so have many other people on the label, and all of them will tell you, being on tour is 90% being in either a small van or tour bus, or a small green room or a big green room with the same people for days or weeks or months at a time. You got to look at those people every day. You got to see them every day. You got to
smell them
with them. You got to smell them all the time. So if you don't like them, or if you're just incompatible, that ship will sink.
You've got to be able to handle it.
Touring is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Releasing music is not for everyone. Running a label is not for everyone.
It's a grind.
It's kind of psychotic sometimes. So.
What are some things some people can do to be more pleasant to be around on tour and to work with?
I'll take a stab. Regularly showering is appreciated.
Doesn't hurt.
I'm out.
Bye bye, D. You just lost your bassist. I'm sorry. He's
He's
gone.
not hitting the road. All right.
We had a good run.
You're going into retirement.
All right. Out to pasture.
Yeah, right. No, what is a good thing? I mean, funny enough, you play music every night. It's a loud environment. You're meeting new people. You're kind of on the road. Sort of like the road is always very loud. I would say people who know how to be quiet is a huge blessing.
Are comfortable with some silence.
Comfortable with silence. You know what I mean? Folks who don't feel like they just constantly have to like take up the air in the room. It's there. But I mean, that being said, being on tour with a bunch of wet blankets also sucks. So.
Yeah, strike that balance.
Yeah, exactly. And I
makes
think,
sense.
honestly, at the end of the day, man, isn't it just like any other relationship? The people who are best at communicating will do the best on the road together.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Let's hear some Libby Rodenbow, Deej. She is also going to be at Sleepy Fest 2022. I dug this song earlier, so let's see what this is all about. Here we go.
I don't have all the colors that you see in me. It's just a trick of light and trigonometry. And now you got it bad for a picture that you made in your head. I don't have all the colors that you see in me. It's just the way I dress that makes my eyes look green now. You're going bad for a dream that never got out of bed. Do you want it the hard way? Stick around till the pain fades. I take off my clothes only to find it slipped away and do a sea of gray. I don't have all the colors that you see in me. It's just a trick of light and trigonometry. And now you got it bad for a picture that you made in your head. Do you want it the hard way? Stick around till the pain fades. I take off my clothes only to find it slipped away and do a sea of gray. I don't have all the colors that you see in me. It's just a trick of light and trigonometry. Now you got it bad for a picture that you made in your head. You got it bad for a picture that you made in your head. You got it bad for a picture that you made in your head.
Oh, great song.
Back to the booking agent thing. That also interests me. I think about this stuff all the time. Good, solid bands that can sell 200 tickets, the back room, or whatever. There's a certain point at which you can go broke pretty quick. You've got management, you've got publicity, you've got agent. So at what point does it make sense, volume wise, to pay for a booking agent?
I think it just kind of comes down to the bandwidth of the band and how hard they want to grind, you know?
Yeah.
If you've got a booking agent that's kind of really, really steeped in the tour circuit,
Yeah.
you got to be, I mean, they're making money only if you make money at your shows. You know?
Right.
I mean, like, you got to pay them whatever their fee is, 10%, 15% of gross sales of whatever the show
Right.
makes, right? So they're going to want you out on the road as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of the things that a band needs to think about if and when they're considering getting a booking agent is how often do they really want to be out? You know what I mean? Because sometimes, I mean, tour routing is intense. I mean, especially if you're out west, you know, I mean, the major markets, you'll be driving a minimum of like 5 or 6 hours a day to get from like,
Oh my goodness.
I don't know, Bozeman, Montana to
It's
Boise,
nuts.
Idaho or
Yeah,
something like
it's a
that. You know,
haul.
and it's just desert otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important thing to consider when you're talking about a booking agent. And then also it's like, I think booking agents have a good handle on sort of how a band will do in different markets. You know,
Yeah.
part of their job is to help the band break into new markets, right? So they'll they can kind of strategically place a band in different towns and at different venues where they kind of know either there's a built-in crowd or this band's listenership seems to be.
This band would do great at this venue.
Exactly.
On this, maybe even this time of year to that level.
Yeah, time of year.
Because I was going to ask you, what are the
Festivals are
freaking benefits of the booking agents? And that's interesting. So one of them is helping a band break into a new market.
Breaking into new markets. That's
Okay.
huge. Yeah.
And a reason that a band's management can't, like, they're just too overwhelmed, the management, to do that at a certain point?
You know, sometimes I don't know if it's a bandwidth thing or
Okay.
if it's just kind of like an old school division of labor
Okay.
sort of thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those, like, that's how it's been done, and so that's how it's
Yeah.
still done to a certain extent. I know a lot of folks coming up, as far as like people in the back end of the industry and whatnot, they'll kind of do it all. You know, if they're managing a band, they're also helping the band book shows. They're also helping the band get pressed. They're also helping the band, like, you know, go on radio and
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking. If you had one kick-ass manager who could really do it all for a band, and then that band could just give them 10, 15%, instead of 10% there, 10% there, 10% there, 15% there. So I don't know. I think about that a lot all the time.
Yeah.
Specifically booking agents.
I think they have to work in tandem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, everybody at least has to be cognizant of what everyone else on the team is doing. Otherwise, what's going to happen? The whole thing's going to, like, light on fire. So,
Yeah.
So do all the bands you play in use Sleepy Cat as their label, or is it like a lawyer wouldn't represent himself? Like, even the best lawyer would hire another lawyer.
What do they call that?
double indemnity?
Yeah, so that sounds right.
That's just a word.
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
I was in a situation where people's interests were aligning. I was like, man, can we call this a confluence of interest?
Yeah.
Instead of a conflict of interest, you know what I mean?
I'll allow it.
Okay, good.
I think you just named this episode.
Yeah, I think so.
Confluence of interest.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's either that or Sleepy Fest. So far, those are the two best names for this episode.
Yeah.
But no, good question. Can you fire yourself?
I have fired myself.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, in many at many points. I mean, sometimes, like, and everyone on the label and a bunch of musicians around us can testify to this too. It is really fun playing music, and sometimes you need to pay the bills, and so you take gigs, and then all of a sudden you're like, I got way too many gigs. I got to fire myself. I'm like,
Yeah,
do this,
I hear you.
know?
What's your favorite place in Chapel Hill, Carver to book a gig? Just all things considered.
Man. I mean,
Top three?
No. I've got number one. I mean,
Okay.
I love the vast majority of the places around here, but
Yeah.
the deepest place in my heart is Nightlight.
Okay.
That's a cool spot.
Cool spot.
Yeah.
Really cool spot. I mean,
What's so great about it?
Well, for one, you can walk in there one night and there's an old time jam happening, you
Yep.
know, with some like real OG folks out playing the real callback to the original traditional music of this area. Then you
Right
walk
on.
in the next night and there's just like a harsh noise festival.
Yeah.
happening, you know what I mean? And you walk in the next night and there's a pop band playing, or there's like an Italian disco night.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they don't give a fuck.
Total,
It's
total
whatever.
variety.
God, it's so good.
Yeah.
And I mean, the folks who run it are definitely music heads, and they've got great taste, and they know a lot of great people around here, so they can just bring a really, really special blend of music out to that spot.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Which place has the best sound system or acoustics or just...
It's a great. I think the Cat's Cradle main room.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, you know what? I'll say this: it's either the Cat's Cradle main room or it's the Haw River Ballroom.
Okay.
And I'm a little
yeah.
biased because I've worked at both, and I've run sound at both, and I've played at both. So I've definitely been on. You know, I have a history at both of those venues, and I really love them. So let's
Yeah.
not let that influence my answer.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah.
The Haw River Ballroom sound, at least from a customer's perspective, I think that's sound-wise, that's the that's the peak for me.
That might be the pinnacle of
And by the way, I'm super partial to the Cradle. I think we talk about it every single episode.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not?
I live 2.5 miles away. They book all my favorite bands.
Very nice.
Yeah, I
Very
totally
nice.
dig the Cradle. One thing I look for in particularly a male artist is someone who's not afraid to get naked.
Mm-hmm.
And with that as their criteria,
I'm
let's
afraid
hit
to
it-
get naked.
Yeah, that's why I don't.
So I respect those.
That's why I never play you on the show. But this
explains
man,
everything.
Sleepy Cat's Owen Fitzgerald. Let's hear from this guy,
Let's hear a little.
and then we'll talk about some of his photo shoots. Here we go.
We'll talk about
Owen
his,
Fitzgerald.
talk about his Fitzgerald.
Don't give me a pet, I'll kill it. Don't give me a pet, I'll kill it. I'll kill it by accident. An accident of shoes. I like watching shoes. Don't make a date with me, I'll miss it. Don't make a date with me, I'll break it. I'll break it by accident. An accident of inattention. Yeah, so I do the mattress, recalling what happened. It's really vicious, so I hold to try to stand and drown it. An accident of inattention. Oh, look at the crow, kicking his eyeball. Is it timid as can be? Here I sit, some asshole who can't remember to breathe. But how to get to work on time? Did I set my alarm? How did I get to work on time? Did I set my alarm?
Deej, that is the oft naked Owen Fitzgerald, folks.
Some say he's off naked. I say he's not naked often enough.
That is a hell of a song.
That's a cool jam. Check out the music video.
Check out that video.
Owen Fitzgerald, don't buy me a pet. Don't get me a pet.
Don't give me a pet.
Don't give me a pet. Owen
He'll
Fitzgerald,
kill
check
it by
out.
accident.
That's right.
Yeah, he's not it's more of a neglect thing than a, what was your role in that video?
In the video, I was sudsing Owen up.
No, seriously. No, but like, were you all like producing or just like extra?
Yeah. So
like, what was your official role on that video?
My official role was essentially just vibe tech. When it comes to video stuff, that is Gabe's department. Gabe, who can't be here because he decided to go to Durham to see Caitlin Aurelia Smith. Anyway.
I don't know, Gabe. I don't know if you made the right decision. I mean, this is the Chris or Jenny show.
I mean, he'd be having a great time.
Some people call this the big leagues.
Well, I mean, I was intimidated when I walked in.
Yeah, as planned.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you guys really strong man to me there.
All right, so what's the future of record labels? What direction do you see it going in 5-10 years?
Yeah.
That's a really good question that I don't even know if I can answer. I don't know what the future of like listening to music is going to be in the next 5 or 10 years. I mean, there are so many folks out there just working on AI and music right now, and I've been following that a little bit. And you know, for example, there's software that you can feed the concepts of a musical piece to a deep learning machine, and it spits out. And you tell it kind of the parameters that you want, and it spits out a brand new novel piece.
Wow.
You know?
Oh my goodness.
Now that's interesting because it's like music as a science versus an art. Are we listening for the good music, or are we listening for what humans can produce?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah.
But I love the intricacies of the live act, but maybe less and less people care about that.
Well, I love seeing people play live still.
Yeah.
You know? And I think a lot of people do, but you know, I've been unfortunately too out of touch with younger generations.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk to them and see what they're into.
Yeah.
Like, what do they get off on musically?
Specifically, Sleepy Cat Records, you're off to the races. It seems like you got a good thing going, a good roster of talent, and you guys are kind of lifers. For you guys, 5-10 years down the road, do you want to be the next Merge Records? What's the ceiling? Where do you see yourselves in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. You know, this is a bit specific of an answer, but one of the things that we've started doing as a label is we've started releasing compilation records, which is essentially original music made by our roster of artists that we put up the money for and that we like make the call out for, right? So it's essentially like one-offs. These songs won't go on any other record. They won't be played at any other time.
Right.
We just say, let's generate new and interesting music on the fly for this compilation. And that's really what I want to do. Moving
Nice.
forward. I want to do more of that, create a long archive of the music that we enjoy, you know?
Follow-up question. How did Deej and I cash in on what you just talked about?
Oh, man. I mean, our investor floor is $10,000. So
10 grand to get in, Deej.
I have to pick my cousin up at the airport that day. All right, yeah, we just got a couple of minutes left. Where can we find you online?
That's a good question.
Anything you want to plug besides the stuff you've already plugged?
Yeah.
Replug it.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm going to replug the fest real quick.
Okay.
October 22nd,
Okay.
down Yonder Farm in Hillsborough, Sleepy Fest.
Okay.
From 1 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Oh my
right.
gosh, folks. It's going to be so much fun.
gonna be a nice
Sleepy
long day.
Fest, sleepycatrec.com.
That's the one.
Were you all pissed when you couldn't get Sleepy Cat
Oh,
Records?
Sleepy Cat Records was gone. And the worst part about it is I feel like it's just some domain aggregator that buys domain names.
Yeah, it looks kind of
Yeah.
generic.
Them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was insulted when I went on it.
Thank you.
I was like, because your all stuff is so much cooler.
Yeah, what's the background of a Sleepy Cat?
Who owns said Sleepy Cat?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your cat.
Yeah, I was working at a studio behind my house when I lived in Chapel Hill and not Carborough, and I had a cat that would hang around all day and it would just sleep, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't name it. Neither Gabe or I named it. A friend of ours came over and was like,
nice.
"How about Sleepy Cat?" Huh?
It's in Hillsborough. I didn't see a ticket price. Just
$35 as a base ticket.
$35, folks, for a freaking awesome day.
You'll
of-
spend that on penny whistles and moon pies.
You'd spend that on Twinkies, folks. Come on. You want to support live acts? Get off your tail and go to the show, Deej. That's what I say.
Okay, so that's the base, and then you can build up
You can,
for
you can
what?
pay more if you want. You know, it's kind of like it's sort of like a sponsorship methodology where like some people have sponsored us and we're giving them tickets to the shows.
I want to dig into the intricacies of the show more. We need to have you back on. Here's what I want to do. I really want to have you back on after this event's behind you, and just get your post. I know a little bit about that world, so I'm really excited to hear from someone who's
I'd love to talk about
putting themselves out there. To Deej's point, anything else to plug besides Sleepy Fest?
No, Sleepy Fest is the big one. I mean, just go listen to our artists. You know, you can find them online. You can find them on all the streaming services. They're out there working hard.
We're going to go out on another one I was really impressed with, 3 Months of Darkness by Chessa Rich. But before we do, awesome having you in here, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Very cool. We support the hell out of you. We want to support your artist. Anything we can do to help you. Ask Deej first, and then
Yeah.
and then if he can
on the
handle
screen, yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
it. Anything else on your mind, sir?
No, just stay out of jail.
What's
kids.
it going to take for me
best,
to
I
get that Electric Six hat from you?
Oh, jeez.
If I had a cool article of clothing, would you consider a swap?
Oh, God. We have to get it dry cleaned.
Deej has a hat that
repeatedly.
that's one of our favorite bands.
That's a good look.
And they were just at
thanks.
Catch Cradle just last week.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Did you get it
So,
at the show?
I did, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, but not this last one.
I did. I just got it at the show we went to together.
Dude,
last week.
I didn't see hats, or I would have bought that one.
Yeah, they were there in plain sight.
I bought like a T-shirt that they've had at every concert I've ever.
You blew it, dude.
Oh my goodness!
Next time.
All right, Saman from Sleepy Cat Records. What a pleasure. DJ Simons, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And
anytime.
we're gonna go out on Chessa Rich. 3 Months of Darkness. Good night, guys.
Good night. Enjoy.
Right.
The colors have faded, the shadows have gone. Still eating breakfast with all the lights on. Closed all the windows 'cause they're of no use. 3 months of darkness is nothing to lose. For just one look at you. are taking her colors, the purples and blues. I'm on a journey that I didn't choose. You're taking your time, and I'm one lucky fool to get just one look at the crickets and fireflies, my makeshift lovers at night. They kiss me and tell me I'm pretty, but I'll still be dreaming of days